before we begin, take a breath, because what you're about to hear isn't just another motivational talk. This is a battle cry for the bold, a love letter to the dreamers, a playbook for the passionate, and a raw, real roadmap for those of us still learning how to stand, fight, and rise, especially when the world tells us to sit down. This is the Can-Do Mindset by Candace Parker, and this is your permission slip to stop waiting for approval. Candace Parker didn't just make it to the top. She redefined what the top looks like. 3 WNBA titles, 2 Olympic golds, MVPs, a career stacked with greatness. But that's not the whole story, because Candace's greatest victories didn't happen on the scoreboard. They happened in the shadows, in silence, in the moments no one clapped for, when she had to decide, over and over again, to believe in herself, even when no one else did. That's what this book is about. It's not about hype. It's not about hustle for the sake of it. It's about resilience rooted in reality. It's about listening to your gut when it whispers, you were made for more. In this book, you're not going to be told to just be positive or fake it till you make it. No, you're going to learn what it actually means to show up fully, to get back up bravely, and to fight for what's yours with purpose. Candace takes us into her world, page by page, moment by moment, not as a superstar, but as a girl with a nickname. Can-Do. And that nickname, it became her compass, her mantra, her mindset. And now it's yours. In a world that pushes perfection and filters every flaw, the Can-Do Mindset is a call to return to something deeper: community, authenticity, acceptance of negativity, the dash, the messy, magical middle, and the courage to create opportunity not just for yourself, but for those coming after you. This audiobook, narrated by Striving to the Top, is not highlight reel. It's not all polished and pretty. It's the behind-the-scenes truth of what it takes to grow, fight, love, lose, win, fall, and rise again. And if you've ever doubted yourself, if you've ever felt too broken, too different, too late, or too tired, this message is for you. So lean in, listen close, because what you need isn't more motivation. What you need is a mirror that reminds you who the hell you are and what you're still capable of becoming. This is a Can-Do Mindset. This is Candace Parker, and this is your turning point. You are not meant to walk alone. Let's begin there, because Candace Parker doesn't. From the very first moment, she makes it clear. Her strength wasn't built in isolation. It was shaped in community, a community that challenged her, cheered for her, and reminded her who she was on the days she almost forgot. She speaks about community not as a luxury, but as a necessity, a life force, a spiritual home. In her words, I stand on the shoulders of giants. And when you hear her say it, you realize you do, too. Community isn't just about who's in your contact list. It's who holds you accountable to your best self. It's who claps for you when the world goes silent. It's who speaks your name in rooms you haven't entered yet. Candace's earliest lessons came from her family. Her parents weren't just spectators. They were mentors, coaches, anchors. Her father, Larry Parker, who played professional basketball himself, instilled the basics, not just the sport, but the spirit of it. Her mother, Sarah, showed her that strength and softness could coexist. That being a woman, especially a black woman in sports, meant you had to be twice as strong, twice as smart, and twice as ready. But this wasn't just a support system in the traditional sense. This was a system of belief, and belief is contagious. When you grow up around people who see your greatness, even before it's fully formed, you start to believe in it, too. You start to believe that, yes, you can play with the boys. Yes, you can lead the team. Yes, you can walk into any arena, on or off the court, and own your space. Candace had that, and she teaches us that we can build it, too. But here's the thing. Community isn't just something you receive. It's something you reciprocate. You give. You show up. You pour in. In high school, Candace was a star, but she never acted like she was above the team. In the WNBA, she's known as much for her assists as her points. She lifts. She amplifies. She brings others with her. because she knows success without solidarity is shallow. Throughout her career, she's leaned on mentors, teammates, coaches, and later in life, her wife, her children, her inner circle. When grief knocked on her door, when injuries sidelined her, when the world whispered, "You're past your prime," her community was louder. They said, "You're not done. You're still rising. We've got you." And that's the can-do mindset at work. Not the false belief that you have to do it all yourself, but the powerful knowing that you were never meant to. So let's ask the real questions. Who's in your corner? Who builds you up when you feel like breaking down? And even more importantly, who are you showing up for? Candace reminds us that legacy isn't just about what we achieve. It's about the community we lift on the way there. Whether you're chasing championships or chasing your calling, remember, you can go fast alone. But if you want to go far, you go together. What does it mean to truly be yourself? Not the curated version. Not the version that fits in the room. Not the version that makes everyone comfortable. But the raw, unfiltered, real version of you. The one with all the passion, all the flaws, all the fire. Candace Parker says, that's the person who wins. Not just on the court, but in life. Because here's the truth. The world will always try to write your script. It will try to tell you who to be, what to wear, how to act, when to speak, when to sit still. Especially if you're a woman. Especially if you're black. Especially if you're bold. But Candace learned something powerful early on. You don't need to shrink to be accepted. You don't need to edit your essence to fit into someone else's expectations. And every time you betray your authentic self just to belong, you abandon your birthright to greatness. This isn't just a motivational quote. It's lived experience. When Candace entered the WNBA, she wasn't just a talented player. She was a disruptor. She came in with swagger, ambition, and a different kind of presence. She wore her confidence on her sleeve. She dunked in games. She played with fire. She didn't apologize. Some called it arrogance. She called it authenticity. And guess what? It made space for other women to do the same. She became a mirror, a signal, a lighthouse. But showing up as your authentic self is never easy, because it also means showing up when it's uncomfortable, being real when it would be easier to pretend. It means being vulnerable. Candace has spoken openly about grief, about identity, about navigating her sexuality, and building a family that didn't fit society's cookie-cutter mold. She didn't hide those parts of herself. She brought them into the light. Because being authentic doesn't mean being perfect. It means being honest. In today's world of filters and facades, that kind of honesty is radical and powerful. Authenticity isn't just about self-expression. It's about alignment. It's about living in a way where your values, your voice, and your vision are not at war with each other. And when you live in that kind of alignment, you walk differently. You speak with more conviction. You attract the right people, the right opportunities, the right energy. Candace teaches us that your authenticity is your competitive advantage. It's the thing nobody else can duplicate. So if you've been dimming your light, trying to fit in, ask yourself, what would it look like to show up as the full, unfiltered version of me? What would I say? What would I do differently? Who would I stop trying to impress? And here's the most important part. Your authenticity is not just for you. It's for someone watching, someone younger, someone struggling, someone waiting for permission to be themselves because they saw you do it first. Candace Parker didn't just win titles. She won freedom for herself and for others by showing up as who she truly is. And that's the kind of mindset that doesn't just change your life. It changes the culture. Chapter 3, and realize that negativity is a part of life. Narrated by Striving to the Top. What if everything you've been taught about negativity is wrong? What if the discomfort you're avoiding, the setbacks you're ashamed of, the storms you wish had never come, are actually the exact ingredients that build your strength? Candace Parker wants you to understand something that changed your entire life. Negativity is not the enemy. It's the training ground. See, we live in a culture that treats pain like poison. We're told to run from it, ignore it, slap a smile over it, and keep moving. But Candace, she didn't have that luxury. Life threw storms away early and often: injuries, criticism, loss, media scrutiny, broken expectations. There were nights when she wondered if she had anything left to give, moments where her confidence cracked, seasons when the pressure felt too heavy to carry. But here's what she learned. Every bruise built muscle. Every setback shaped her resilience. Every no created the fire behind her, yes. Negativity wasn't a signal to stop. It was a refiner, a sharpening tool, a wake-up call to level up. Candace tells a story about losing someone close, how grief knocked her off balance. It wasn't just sadness. It was guilt, fear, and questions she didn't know how to answer. She realized in that season that life will break your heart, but how you respond determines whether it stays broken. She didn't numb it. She felt it. She didn't fake being strong. She became strong by honoring her weakness first. Here's the shift she wants you to make. Stop resisting the negativity and start mining it, because inside every disappointment is a data point, a lesson, a redirection, a new level of grit. Think about the greatest athletes. They don't just train their bodies. They train their minds to endure discomfort, to sit with pressure, to rise through it. That's not toxic positivity. That's emotional conditioning. And you can do the same. The truth is, people will misunderstand you. Opportunities will pass you by. Friends will disappear. The plan will fall apart. You'll get knocked down. And still, you rise, not in spite of negativity, but because of how it shaped you. Negativity isn't a full stop. It's a comma, a plot twist, a fire that, if harnessed, fuels reinvention. Candace Parker wants you to remember, you don't get to greatness without some friction. You don't build legacy without walking through some shadows. You don't become mentally tough without first being mentally tested. The goal is not to live a life free of negativity. It's to build emotional agility, to stand tall inside it. So, the next time doubt whispers, you're not enough. The next time failure knocks you off your feet. The next time you feel like quitting, don't just endure it. Engage with it. Ask it, what are you here to teach me? What part of me needs to grow right now? And then get back up, stronger, wiser, more unstoppable than before. Chapter 4, D. Embrace the excitement of the everyday dash. Narrated by Striving to the Top. Everyone celebrates the start. Everyone shows up for the finish line. But what about the dash? That invisible stretch between your birth and your breakthrough? The part where no one's clapping? Where the spotlight's off and the crowd is gone? This is where your life is actually built. Candace Parker calls it the everyday dash, the overlooked, ordinary, in-between space where dreams are either nourished or forgotten. And she wants you to understand something most people miss. If you don't learn to love the dash, you'll never reach the destination. Think about it. It's not glamorous waking up at 5 a.m. to train. It's not exciting to repeat the same drill 10,000 times. It's not sexy to keep working when no one notices. It's not viral content to show your quiet grind. But that's exactly where greatness is born. For Candace, the dash wasn't just long. It was relentless. Hours in recovery. Weeks on the bench. Seasons where she had to reinvent herself again and again. But instead of rushing through it, she leaned into it. Because the dash teaches you patience. The dash teaches you rhythm. The dash teaches you how to show up, not just when you feel inspired, but especially when you don't. Most people only want the destination. They want the book deal, the gold medal, the big moment. But here's the secret. The destination is just a reflection of how you handle the dash. The person you become when it's hard, boring, quiet, and slow. That's your real legacy. It's in the little choices. Drinking water instead of quitting. Meditating instead of scrolling. Practicing your skill while the world sleeps. Being kind even when no one says thank you. These are dash moments. And they count. Candace shares that she didn't win 3 WNBA titles in the final game. She won them in the years no one watched. In the gym, in rehab, in silence. And she wants you to feel this in your bones. Your greatness will be shaped by the parts of your journey that don't get posted. So stop waiting for permission to enjoy the journey. Stop measuring your progress by how fast you get there. and instead fall in love with the daily movement forward. Because when you can find beauty in the middle, when you can treat the dash like the destination, that's when you become unstoppable. Here's your challenge. Tomorrow morning, when no one's watching, when you don't feel like it, show up anyway. Not because someone's counting, but because you are. Chapter 5. Oh, fight for opportunity for yourself and others. Narrated by Striving to the Top. Opportunity rarely knocks. Most times you have to build the door and then knock yourself. Candace Parker didn't wait to be chosen. She showed up, she spoke up, and she stood up again and again until the world had no choice but to listen. But this chapter isn't just about ambition. It's about intention. It's about fighting for space, not only to win, but to bring others with you. Because a true can-do mindset doesn't stop at personal success. It multiplies. It lifts. It clears a path wide enough for others to walk through too. Candace's career is packed with moments when she could have focused only on herself. She had every excuse to just stay in her lane and win the awards. But she knew representation is responsibility. So she fought for better pay. She fought for media visibility. She used her platform to speak on motherhood, on LGBTQ+ rights, on justice. She didn't wait until it was safe. She spoke even when it was costly. Because here's what she believes. Your opportunity becomes someone else's blueprint. So what does that mean for you? It means you stop apologizing for your ambition. It means you ask for the raise. You pitch the idea. You write the book. You apply for the grant. You step into rooms that don't look like you and stay there anyway. But once you get in, you don't close the door behind you. You turn around. You hold it open. You mentor. You nominate. You advocate. This isn't just success, it's legacy. Candace talks about how powerful it was to have mentors, people who told her she belonged even before she believed it herself. And now, she's become that person for others. That's your challenge too. Because fighting for opportunity isn't always loud. Sometimes it's saying a name in a room full of decision makers. Sometimes it's sharing a tool, a contact, a word of encouragement. Sometimes it's just refusing to shrink so someone else can feel comfortable. So the next time you feel small, remember Candace walking into male-dominated rooms with her shoulders back and her message clear. I deserve to be here. And so, do the women coming after me. This is your reminder. You're not asking for a favor. You're claiming your place. You're not waiting for a stage. You are the stage. And once you stand on it, ask yourself, who can I bring up here with me? Chapter 6, The Power of Becoming. Beyond Candio. Narrated by Striving to the Top. You walk through every letter. C-A-N-D-O. You've seen how community, authenticity, negativity, the dash, and opportunity form the foundation of Candace Parker's legendary mindset. But there's something more. Something that ties it all together. Something that reminds you, this mindset isn't about becoming Candace. It's about becoming fully, powerfully, courageously you. Because the can-do mindset is not just a formula for achievement. It's a lifestyle of becoming. Not becoming perfect. Not becoming popular. Not becoming what others expect of you. But becoming aligned. Becoming whole. Becoming who you were born to be. Without shame, apology, or delay. Candace's story isn't flawless. It's real. Raw. Honest. She's missed shots. She's felt doubt. She's questioned her strength. And still, she kept becoming. That's the hidden chapter. The work continues, even when the book ends. Because a can-do life is not a destination. It's a daily decision. It's choosing joy when the world expects bitterness. It's choosing self-respect when others offer only criticism. It's choosing to rise again and again, even when your legs feel like giving out. Candace didn't get here by chance. She built this life, brick by brick, moment by moment, day by dash-filled day. And now it's your turn. This is more than inspiration. This is invitation. To stop waiting. To stop second-guessing. To stop living small when you were born to lead. You don't need a title. You don't need permission. You already have the most powerful thing you need. The belief that you can. So wake up tomorrow with can-do on your tongue. Step into rooms like you belong, because you do. Speak your dreams aloud like they're already happening. And when fear whispers, "Who do you think you are?" smile and say, "I'm the one who didn't give up. I'm the one who said yes to myself. I'm the one who knows I can." Headphone final message from Striving to the Top. If this resonated with your spirit, if something deep inside you lit up while listening, then you already know this journey is just beginning. Subscribe now to the channel. Not for me, but for you, because you owe yourself a life of truth, passion, and purpose. And every story, every book, every message we share here will help you live it. Backhand index pointing right, Striving to the Top is your space for becoming, your fire, your mirror, your reminder that your best self is already within you. So hit that subscribe button. Let's keep growing. Together, the can-do way. Bonus Chapter 7, Fail Forward, Turning Setbacks into Fuel. Narrated by Striving to the Top. Every champion you admire, every leader you follow, every legend whose name lives on, has one thing in common. They failed. Not once, not twice, over and over. The difference? They didn't let failure define them. They let it refine them. Candace Parker knows this intimately. Behind every win on the court was a private loss, a personal challenge, a painful moment that could have ended everything but didn't. Why? Because failure isn't the end of the story. It's often the real beginning. This bonus chapter dives into the mindset Candace embraced when life didn't go as planned, when injury struck, when critics were loud, when doors closed. Instead of folding, she found fuel. Instead of shame, she chose strategy. Instead of replaying what went wrong, she focused on what could go right next. That's the can-do difference. This chapter is your permission slip to stop fearing failure, to stop letting rejection write your narrative, to stop treating setbacks like stop signs when they're really just redirections. When you fail forward, you grow stronger. You become wiser. You learn which parts of yourself need rebuilding and which parts were unshakable all along. Failing forward means applying for the next thing even if the last one ghosted you. Showing up to the gym even when you lost the last game. Recording that podcast episode after your last one flopped. Saying, "I still believe in myself" when nobody claps. This is the mindset of the uncommon. This is how you build resilience in real time. Because the truth is, the road to greatness is paved with losses most people never see. Candace Parker doesn't just share the highlight reel. She gives us a locker room breakdown, the hard lessons, the moments of doubt, because that's where true champions are made, not in the wins, but in how they rise after the fall. So here's your challenge. Don't avoid failure. Expect it. Welcome it. Learn from it. You'll discover that failure is often the universe asking you, how bad do you want this? Answer with action. Answer with grace. Answer with a heart that whispers back, bad enough to keep going. Chapter 8, Owning the Spotlight, Lead Loud, Live Fully. Narrated by Striving to the Top. There comes a point in every journey where humility must meet boldness, where quiet dreams need to be spoken aloud, where your gifts are no longer kept hidden, but owned. Candace Parker didn't become a global icon by blending in. She became one by owning the spotlight and redefining what it means to lead from it. In this chapter, we explore what it means to step up, not just for applause, not for vanity, but to say, I've done the work. I carry the scars. I've earned the right to shine. So let's get this clear. The spotlight isn't about ego. It's about impact. It's the stage where your story lights the path for someone still stuck in the dark. It's the mic where your truth shatters someone else's shame. It's the moment when your presence gives someone else permission to show up as they are. Candace used her spotlight not to elevate herself alone, but to pull others into the light with her. Whether mentoring younger players, standing up for mothers in sports, or showing the world what LGBTQ plus love looks like with pride and dignity, she didn't dim her shine to make people comfortable. She turned it up. And now, so can you. You don't need to wait to be chosen. You don't need someone's approval to speak. You don't need a bigger platform to start showing up powerfully today. Here's what owning your spotlight really looks like. Raising your hand even when your voice shakes. applying for the thing, even if you don't check every box, telling your story, even if it's messy, loving out loud, even when it's risky, walking into a room and not shrinking to fit anyone's comfort. This is where authenticity meets leadership, where presence becomes a statement. Because when you own your light, you set others free to do the same. You teach your daughters and sons, your friends and your followers, that courage is contagious, that standing tall doesn't mean you're arrogant. It means you're rooted. Candace didn't wait for someone to hand her the mic. She built her own. She tuned it to her truth. And now her voice echoes far beyond the hardwood floor. What will yours echo beyond? Headphone, your voice matters. Your presence matters. You matter. Subscribe to Striving to the Top if this stirred something inside you. Let's keep building lives we're proud of, loudly, fully, and with hearts wide open. This is your moment. Own it. Shine anyway. Let anyway. And never, ever dim for the room. Chapter 9. Rest is Power. Redefining Strength in a Burnout World. Narrated by Striving to the Top. We've been sold a lie. That the grind never stops. That hustling 24/7 is the only path to success. That burnout is some twisted badge of honor. But what if Candace Parker's real strength wasn't in how hard she pushed, but in how wisely she paused? In this chapter, we challenge one of the most toxic narratives of modern ambition, that rest is weakness. Candace Parker's legendary career, spanning WNBA championships, Olympic golds, and global influence, wasn't built by skipping sleep and ignoring her body. It was built on rhythms, recovery, stillness, reflection. Rest is not a reward. Rest is strategy. It's power. It's what refuels your vision, rebuilds your strength, and restores your spirit. Let's get honest. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't lead, build, give, or create if you're spiritually bankrupt and emotionally exhausted. Candace knew when to push, but more importantly, she knew when to pull back. She learned to listen to her body, not override it. Pause, not quit. Step away, not disappear. Even in the middle of championship seasons, she prioritized wholeness over hustle. And that's what allowed her to show up again and again with power and purpose. So what does rest look like in your world? Saying no without guilt. Taking a weekend off and not apologizing for it. Turning off the noise and tuning into your own voice. Journaling instead of scrolling. Sleeping 8 hours like your dreams depend on it, because they do. This chapter is your wake-up call to slow down in order to last. Let go of proving. Let go of performing. Let go of tying your worth to how much you produce. You are not a machine. You are a miracle. And miracles require maintenance. Candace didn't just build a career. She built sustainability. And that's what true greatness looks like. Headphone, let's stop glorifying burnout and start honoring restoration. Let's build a culture where rest is respected, not ridiculed. If you needed this message today, you're not alone. Subscribe to Striving to the Top, because we're rewriting the rules on success. And the new rule? You don't need to die grinding to live meaningfully. Rest is not quitting. Rest is coming back stronger. Chapter 10, Legacy over Likes, Building a Life that Outlives You. Narrated by Striving to the Top. One day, long after the trophies are faded, long after the posts stop getting likes, long after the noise dies down, one thing will remain. The legacy you chose to build. Not your followers, not your titles, not your stats, but the impact, the lives you touched, the courage you inspired, the doors you opened for someone else. In this final chapter, we shift the lens from success to significance, from chasing the spotlight to planting seeds that will grow long after you're gone. Candace Parker didn't just dominate basketball. She disrupted norms. She challenged double standards. She showed the world what's possible when a woman dares to lead, dares to mother, dares to love, unapologetically. Her legacy isn't just in gold medals or MVPs. It's in the little girls who now believe they can. It's in the LGBTQ plus families who felt seen when she shared her truth. It's in the WNBA players who now have bigger platforms, better pay, and broader respect because of the paths she carved out with grit and grace. And that's what legacy is. It's what shifts when you show up. Legacy isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet word of encouragement, the idea you dare to start, the example you set when you chose integrity over attention. So ask yourself, am I building a resume or a ripple? Am I performing for approval or standing for purpose? Candace chose purpose, and not just once, over and over. Every time she returned to the game after an injury, every time she said no to playing small, every time she used her voice, even when it shook, she was building something that would last. This chapter is your invitation to do the same. Maybe no one claps for you today. Maybe no cameras watching. But legacy isn't built in the spotlight. It's built in the shadows, in the sacrifice, in the small decisions no one sees, but everyone one day feels. So, what are you building? A brand? Or a blueprint for those who come next? A feed full of highlight reels? Or a foundation that others can rise on? Because likes fade. But legacy? That echoes for generations. Headphone if you've made it here. You're not just chasing success. You're choosing to matter. And that's what striving to the top is about. Hit that subscribe button. Not because we want followers, but because we want builders of legacy like you in this space. This isn't just motivation. It's a movement. And remember, you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable. You just need to live with purpose. Every day, in every way. That's how the can-do mindset lives on. Through you, and the world needs what only you can leave behind. Conclusion, your can-do moment starts now. Narrated by Striving to the Top. If you're still here, still listening, still breathing in the weight of these words, then this is your can-do moment. The past few chapters weren't just about Candace Parker's greatness. They were about yours. The quiet, powerful potential inside you that's been waiting, aching for permission to rise. Well, here it is. You don't need another motivational quote. You don't need another round of applause. You don't need every puzzle piece in place. You just need to believe again. That resilience is built in the daily decision to keep going. That your heart isn't foolish. It's your compass. That fighting for what you love isn't selfish. It's your assignment. You've learned Candace's Candio code. Community, authenticity, negativity, dash, opportunity. But here's the truth. Those aren't just her lessons. They're a life structure, a soul blueprint, and a battle cry for you. You don't need to be a WNBA star. You don't need gold medals. You just need the willingness to show up. Messy, unfinished, imperfect, but present and ready. Because the world doesn't just need more successful people. It needs more real ones, more brave ones, more people like you who refuse to sit quietly on their dreams. So let this be more than an audiobook. Let this be your line in the sand. The moment you stop waiting and start doing. The moment you trade fear for focus. The moment you stop watching others live boldly and choose to step into your own story. Right here, right now. Your future is listening, and it's asking one question. Will you show up? Headphone, this is Striving to the Top. And if you felt even a flicker of purpose through these words, subscribe. Not for us, for you. So every time you forget what you're capable of, you'll have a voice reminding you. You can. You will. You were always meant to. Now go build the life you've imagined. And never forget, you've got the can-do mindset. And that changes everything.